sack of Spencer Petras in this ballgame.
They will run one more play here. Petras throws high. Another interception picked off by Cam Allen.
Yo, what's up? Avian here, and today we're going to talk about my Week 8 rankings and why I think these teams are in the spots that they are against the AP rankings, and I'm going to explain the differences between all those. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so I have my rankings on the screen right here, and let me explain why everyone's in the position that they're at. Georgia played Kentucky this weekend. They won that game 30-13, even though Kentucky got a late touchdown. Kentucky didn't really look that good in this game, but at least they scored, I guess. And Georgia's just really insane, so that's why I have them number 1. Cincinnati's number 2. They beat UCF. I think it was 56-21. Quote me if I'm wrong about that. But Cincinnati just looks like a really good team, and they deserve that second spot. And at third spot, we have Ohio State. They had a bye weekend, but I still believe that they're the third best team right now, especially how they are playing. They still have to prove a little bit and beat a ranked team, but that's where I have them for now. And number 4, I have the Alabama Crimson Tide. They played Mississippi State, and they won that game 49-9. They looked very good in this game, and especially in the second half. The first half, they were doing decent. I didn't think Mississippi State would go scoreless in the second half, but apparently they did, but that's where I have the Tide at number 4. And OU, I have at number 5. They played TCU. They won that game 52-31. OU's defense kind of didn't show up. I mean, neither did TCU's, but Oklahoma's offense did so much better in this game under Caleb Williams. He has to be the starter from now on. I'm pretty sure Lincoln Riley knows that. But yeah, TCU, their offense, they play decent. They have this one really big receiver. I forgot what his name was, but he's number 1. He's like 6'5" or something like that, and he scored a few touchdowns for them. And then moving on to Michigan. I have them at number 6, and then after Michigan, I have Michigan State at number 7. They played Indiana this weekend, won that game 20-15. They did not look good at all. They looked very, very bad on offense, especially. Indiana turned the ball over a lot, so I think that's the reason that Michigan State won this game. But yeah, I was kind of hesitant to put them above the Nittany Lions, but I had to just because they're undefeated, and you know, they've proven that they can win those games at the end, and Penn State could not against an Iowa team that eventually fell to Purdue, which we'll get into in a second. And then at number 8, I have the Nittany Lions, obviously. They also did not play this weekend. I feel like a lot of Big Ten teams didn't play this weekend. Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, they all didn't play. But Penn State plays Illinois this weekend, and I don't think Sean Clifford is going to play in this game. It's probably going to be Roberson or the other quarterback. I forgot his name. But I think Penn State will get back on track. And then after Penn State, we have the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They played Texas at Texas this weekend. They won that game 32-24. I picked Texas to win that game, but they don't play defense, and their offense really didn't do much. Oklahoma State did a really good job at stopping them, and they came back in this game. Texas was also up, and they cannot hold a lead to save their lives. That's why I didn't have them in the rankings last time. I don't know why the AP had them ranked still after they lost to Oklahoma after blowing that game, but that's beyond me. But after them, to round out the top 10, I have Iowa. Now I have Iowa at the 10th spot because they lost to Purdue. They lost to Purdue 24-7. It's a pretty bad loss, but the reason I haven't dropped them further is only because it was a trap game. And if you guys know anything about trap games after an emotional game, it's usually the next game after that's kind of the hard one and the one that can get you. Just like it's happened a lot in the past, and they had a game against Penn State, which they had to come back and win that game. Very emotional at home. So I kind of felt like they were going to lose this game, and I don't think that it hits them as hard. So that's why I have them at the 10th spot. And then we have Oregon. Now Oregon played California on Friday, I believe, and they won that game 24-17 or something like that. But California is really bad this year, and I don't really understand why Oregon's having tough times with these really bad teams, because especially when they went to Columbus and beat Ohio State, that just looked like a whole different team. And I think they're regressing, and they're going to keep regressing this season. So I feel bad for them in that sense, but it is what it is. The Pac-12 really isn't that good, and Oregon still is the best team in the Pac-12, and they're regressing. So I don't know what they're going to do with that conference, to be honest. But next, let's talk about Ole Miss. Now I have Ole Miss at the 12th spot. They actually beat Tennessee over the weekend, 31-26. And that game was wild. As you guys probably know, the Tennessee fans were throwing stuff all over the field because of a bad call on 4th and 24. It looked like he got the first down, but the refs spotted him short, and that kind of cost them the game. Even though they did get another possession, and Joe Milton ran out of bounds because, you know, he's not the smartest human being on the planet. But yeah, they lost that game, and Lane Kiffin got hit with like a golf ball. Someone threw mustard on the field or something like that. Very wild game. It was very defensive. I thought it was going to be a higher scoring game, but Tennessee's defense played very well, but their offense just didn't do anything. And against Ole Miss's defense, if you can't score on their defense, then I just think there has to be something like internally wrong, because this is a team that let up 51 points against Arkansas and consistently allows big scores like that. So Tennessee had to do something about that, and they didn't. That's why they lost this game. But yeah, let's get on to the Chanticleers and Notre Dame. They did not play this weekend, but I still got the Chanticleers 13, Notre Dame 14, and then 15 I have NC State. NC State played Boston College. They won that game 33-7. They actually looked very convincing in this game, and they played very good defense. This is probably one of their most complete games. Even the game against Clemson wasn't as complete as this one, I believe, because Clemson's not that good, and they only won that game by like 6, I believe. And then after that, we have Wake Forest. I got them at the 16th spot. They're actually the only undefeated ACC team left, but I still have NC State above them just because I think NC State's a better team. They played great against Boston College, like I just said, and against Clemson. So that's why I have them in front. And then after that, we have Kentucky at 17. They lost to Georgia. Didn't really look that good, but better than I thought. I didn't think they would score more than 10, and they did. And I thought Georgia would score more, so I guess kudos to them. And after them, I have Texas A&M. Texas A&M played Missouri. They won that game 35-14. They looked pretty good at the beginning. Texas A&M didn't look that good. I know Calzada started off like 4 for 14 or something like that, so that wasn't really that impressive, but they kind of turned it on. I thought that they would score more against Missouri, but after an emotional game against Alabama, this could have been a trap game for them, and they did not let Missouri really get to them, so gotta give credit where credit is due. And then next we have Baylor. Baylor played at BYU at home, and they won this game 38-24. They just look good. Like, flat out, Baylor just looked good, offense and defensively. They look good. I knew they were going to win this game. I picked them to win in my last video, and they seem like a different team under Aranda, and I believe that this team is going to have a big chance to beat Oklahoma when they play. It just really depends on the game plan, so we'll see what happens with that. And then we have SMU. I have SMU sitting here at the 20th spot. They didn't play this weekend, but some other teams lost, and that's why they moved up a little bit. And right after that, we have Auburn. Auburn actually played Arkansas this weekend. They won 38-23. Arkansas didn't look that good in this game. Bo Nix played very well for Auburn. Their defense played well. I did not expect Auburn to win this game by as much as they did, but I did pick them to win. So that's why I have them at the 21st spot. At the 22nd spot, we have the Pittsburgh Panthers. They played Virginia Tech and won this game 20-7. Pittsburgh is looking really good. Honestly, I do have them as the 3rd best team in the ACC, but they might be the 2nd best team. Pittsburgh might beat Wake Forest and maybe even NC State at this point, but we're going to see how that pans out. But yeah, they just look dominant in this game, and I can't wait for the game against Clemson next week. I do think Clemson is going to lose that game, by the way. Pittsburgh just looks better. Then at the 23rd spot, we have San Diego State. They won on Friday against San Jose State, and they won the game 19-13. I think it went to double overtime or something like that. Yeah, it did go to double overtime. This game was sloppy, and the only reason I have San Diego State at the 23rd spot is because they're undefeated and their previous wins. So they're not going to move up that far because they didn't look that good. And then after that, I have Utah. The Utah Utes at 24. They beat Arizona State 35-21. I also did pick Utah to win this game. I just didn't believe in Arizona State. I thought they were getting an unnecessary amount of hype, even though they look good. I just think Utah's the better team, and they just haven't looked the best this year. So yeah, they did win this game, and that's why I got them at 24. And to round out the top 25, I have Purdue. Purdue beat Iowa, as we talked about earlier in the video. They looked decent on offense. They had a lot of turnovers. I think they have 4 interceptions in this game, and that's probably the reason that they won. Iowa just looked sloppy, and Purdue converted when they needed to. Alright, so that was my top 25 rankings, and now I'm going to show you the AP rankings for the week. I'm flashing that on the screen right now, and they actually have University of Texas San Antonio on here. The Roadrunners, I know they're 7-0, but I don't think they have any quality wins. I guess it's good that they're 7-0 and great that they made the top 25, but personally I would like them to beat at least 2 Power 5 teams. I think they beat Illinois 37-30 to start off the year, and Illinois is just not that good, even though they beat Nebraska. But I guess I could see where they're coming from, so that's fine. It's kind of ticky-tacky. If they beat Louisiana Tech next week, then I'll probably end up putting them in the rankings, because Louisiana Tech actually isn't a bad team. But as for the rest of the AP rankings, I don't think they got anything too wrong. Everything kind of seems alright. I mean, it's still the same thing about like the beginning, like where I have like Alabama, OU, and Ohio State. They got that like a little mixed in my opinion. But as for the rest of it, it's pretty much the same. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about this video and the last rankings video I did. The last one was around 5 minutes long, and this one was a little bit longer. Let me know if you like when I break down the teams and the games and stuff like that, or if you just like the brief summary. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.